Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 3rd of 2022, and ever since the very end of the Book of Boba Fett series, a lot of Star Wars fans around the world have been looking forward to other shows out there, such as the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, the Ahsoka Tano TV show, and yes, even Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 on the way. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are not only getting closer to the full-length trailer of the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series, which, by the way, is set to debut in early May. The full trailer, we have the actual series dropping on May 27th, 2 days from its initial release on May 25th. We're going to be getting 2 episodes on that very given day, so that's Disney's way of making it up to the fans. They shifted a lot of this having to do, of course, with Star Wars Celebration and having a presentation there to kind of really boost the ratings, of course, for how many people are going to tune in to this overall event and actually go to the event. Now, moving on beyond all of this, alright, one thing that a lot of fans have been very intrigued about is exactly what is going on with the new Star Wars universe. Now, we know that the Star Wars universe is going to be full of new eras, new timelines, new, locations in the galaxy that we have yet to have explored in both Legends and the Disney canon. John and Dave are looking for ways to really expand everything related to the new universe at hand here. And when we look at somebody like Kathleen Kennedy, which is the subject for today, she's one that really lacks a lot of vision and is literally doing everything in her power to stay away from George Lucas's vision. In fact, that is exactly what she's doing with shows like the Acolyte TV series and the Project Vortex TV show, which is basically Stranger Things in space, which, by the way, begins filming this June. There's a lot of things in the pipeline happening at the same exact time. However, when it all dwindles down to Kathleen Kennedy, with both Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars TV shows, creators Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are beginning to work on the Ahsoka Tano series for Disney+. Now, it's described, however, that currently Disney CEO Bob Chapek has been making some key changes behind the scenes to the Star Wars universe. It's described that recently the Disney CEO canceled a big Star Wars project that was greenlit for the past number of years under Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy that recently came to an end that took many months to finalize and put an end to. Now, this new Star Wars TV series was described to be a spin-off show for the Acolyte TV show that was going to focus on the character Maeve, who is a Jedi god that will be introduced into the Acolyte series. Now, this spin-off show was set to actually star actress Brie Larson in the show, and was going to reset more aspects of George Lucas's vision of the franchise. This new vision by Kathleen Kennedy was set to focus on how the character Maeve was created by these new types of gods or godlike beings that were similar to the Wills with a different set of beliefs that would be used in the actual show. Now, eventually Bob Chapek some time ago came to the conclusion that it was way too fast to even put out a spin-off show for a series that has yet to even debut on their streaming service. And let me just pause right here for a second before we get to the next thing, is that Bob Chapek made the best decision right here of canceling this show because of that one big reason right then and there, is that Bob Iger at the time, who was the Disney CEO, before 2020, he actually allowed Kathleen Kennedy to greenlight tons of Star Wars shows that are just as broad as what we are getting now by John, George, and Dave. And they are still to this day, in the stages of canceling those shows one by one, and this is the latest one to finally, bite the dust. And when we have somebody like Bob Chapek making a smart decision like this, you don't release or move forward with production on a spin-off show before the actual series of that spin-off show even debuts, and it makes a lot of sense. This is a good decision on Bob Chapek's part of preventing Kathleen Kennedy releasing pretty much a disaster in the making. Now, when you look at something like this in its entirety, right, what they were ultimately trying to do, Kathleen Kennedy speaking, is that she was basically trying to create her own version of the Mandoverse, and that's what she ultimately was trying to do. We have the Mandalorian, we have Ahsoka, Book of Boba, you know, a lot of shows are spawning from The Mandalorian. She wanted to do the same exact thing with the Acolyte TV series, where the Acolyte was basically the Mandalorian of the High Republic era, if that makes sense. So moving on from all of this, alright, this is where things begin to pick up a little bit, is that the show is best described to be an origin series of aspects related to the cosmic force and how these godlike beings created some force-sensitive users across the entire galaxy. Now, the show is also going to focus on new Sith and Jedi origin stories that Bob Chapek knew would create tons of fan backlash, as Kathleen Kennedy wanted to do something completely new and original that would have been horrible for the franchise by Jon and Dave Filoni. The series was also going to create some more major retcons against the prequel trilogy movies by Lucas. Kennedy had this plan to build on the retcons that she already has in store for the Acolyte series, which is, of course, so far going to debut in 2023, about the summertime, if they stay on track with no setbacks, from this point on forward, of course. Now, on top of that, additionally, Kathleen Kennedy also was going to rehire Leslie Headland to come back for the spin-off series as a writer, since Leslie has been writing the Acolyte series under Kennedy's supervision. It's one of those stories that was going to reshape how fans view some of these Jedi godlike creatures such as Maeve. Ultimately, the main reason Bob Chapek canceled, and of course, the overall series and moved on with other projects, had a lot to do with the fact that it was way too early to jump ahead and making a spin-off show, of course, about a series that is not even coming out for a year plus, if it even makes it on time at that. The previous Disney CEO Bob Iger is the one who allowed Kathleen Kennedy to even greenlight the spin-off show, as he actually saw it as an opportunity to use the show to promote world issues and Kathleen Kennedy's agenda and beliefs in the series. So far, Kennedy is only working on The Acolyte and Project Vortex and holds no creative power over any other of the Star Wars shows that are under Jon, George, and Dave's creation. Now, the thing about all of this that I think a lot of fans also need to know is the fact that we also have the character Maeve that's going to be a highlight in the Acolyte series by Brie Larson. Alright, we talked about this, you know, months and months ago. That's still a thing. But her own spin-off show is no more. That is officially canceled now. That is actually in the background. Disney CEO Bob Chapek made sure that that was never going to happen. And that was a good call on his part, you know, because let's face it, it was crazy, absolutely crazy to jump ahead and do something so early. You know, it kind of reminds me of this. It kind of reminds me of what Kathleen Kennedy did with Rian Johnson of approving a new Star Wars trilogy before The Last Jedi even came out. I don't know if you guys remember that earnings call back in November of 2017. November of 2017 was the exact point in time in which that earnings call convinced the fans that Rian Johnson must be like the guy of Star Wars, because if he's getting a whole new trilogy, The Last Jedi must be that good. And I think that's exactly what really kind of created that form of security among fans, you know, believing that this must be like a godlike movie, just really, really well made, that's gonna create box office budget records, right? Because he was approved for a new trilogy prematurely. And obviously that turned out to just be a Kathleen Kennedy habit. And we saw something very similar with the Acolyte series and the Acolyte spin-off show that is now canceled under Bob Chapek's wing. And good call on him, you know, good on him. I gotta give him a lot of credit at least for that. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.